Happy Sweet Life Saturday, everyone. We back. We waited all year for this moment. Big day tomorrow. The Westminster Dog Show. I've been waiting all year for this. I'm ready to talk about it, Jack.
The
Before we
dog
get
show.
started,
Yeah, the
before we
dog
start
show is
real
big.
quick, use promo code GETRIGHT over there at Underdog Fantasy. Get a deposit match of 50% on your first $1,000. And, the one we can't talk enough about. Jack now has one. Well, not a belt. He's got one of these bad boys.
I got a big
Go over to
trophy.
Trophy Snack.
back there.
Go over to Trophy Smack. Use promo code Get Right. Get yourself right. All right. Well, as you can tell, I was a little sarcastic here. We're not talking about the Westminster Dogs show. We're here to talk about the
And
Super
we
Bowl.
could talk about the Westminster Dog Show. A lot
Sure.
of people are probably going to be tuning into that. There's this
I parlayed a
golden retriever touchdown,
golden retriever with
Scottish
Schnauzer.
Terrier to 3+ receptions. Yeah,
I like the parlay. No, but anyway, we're here. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Before we get into the Super Bowl, we are going to recap this award show. This, shall we say, controversial award show, some are calling it. Jack, if you want to take the reins, let's run through it.
yeah. I think controversial is the right word, and I think that my knee-jerk reaction to the winners was, everyone kind of, we talked about it a bit pre-show. Everyone that got an award, it's not like it was insane that they won the award. Like, everyone that won the award was a good player. Get that right out of the way. However, under a little bit more of a microscope, you could argue some guys, maybe one guy, maybe got snubbed a little bit.
Maybe.
So I have the list right here in front of me. And what I'm going to do, Cody, for you and myself and the listeners, it's kind of just a general reminder and going over the award winners here and acknowledging them. We could also kind of break them down if there's anyone that stands out. We could kind of pump the brakes and, if I say a crazy player, you know what I mean? We could chop it up about him. But I'm going to save the big one for last. I'm going to save the MVP for the end because I know that's going to be a discussion and a half, I'm sure.
For sure.
So
Already has been.
yeah, already has been. Unless you're a Bills fan. Heyo.
Dad's happy. I'll say that.
Yeah. But we're going to start off with the AP Coach of the Year, and that went to the Vikings head coach, Mr. Kevin O'Connell. And I think that personally was probably more than fair.
Yeah, I mean, I have no gripe there. Took a team that no one expected to really compete this year.
Revived Sam Darnold's entire legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. A team going into this season, a lot of people thought, maybe just a rebuild year, especially after the news. JJ McCarthy, their first round pick, is going to miss the whole year. Probably wrote it off. But I mean, they came out, did anything but that, got to the playoffs. Yeah, I have no gripe there.
Kevin O'Connell's kind of getting a little bit of a resume to him now. I mean, you look at what he did last year when his quarterback went down with the backups that he had. Like he has that similar.
Josh Dobbs, he revived his career a little bit, but
yeah, I don't want to start comparing him to Shanahan because Shanahan is like this name with so much weight to it. But I mean, he seems to kind of be at least in that ballpark of coaches that really like a safe scheme, very quarterback friendly, I should say. So I think that was more than well deserving.
Sure.
Another one that I think was more than well deserved was the Comeback Player of the Year award, which went to my Sweet Life Man of the Year award, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, career year for him. He finally played every single game. He was not out a single game with an injury, which for Joe Burrow is like a feat in and of itself. He also managed to lead the league in passing yards, passing touchdowns. He was in MVP conversations. So for him to come back from not only the injury that he had last year, but kind of conversation that we had of, is this guy even still good? Is he, consistent? Is he worth the hype? And he comes out and he acted on paper as
Yeah, I mean, he shot us up early in the year. We
yeah,
started to have speculations about him. Yeah, it's another one. I like the pick with Joe Burrow winning it. I think we need to give some credit to Sam Darnold, the man we just talked about. Could he have won it? Sure. I mean, like we
yeah,
just said, he was, trending towards being a journeyman backup until this year came out. At one point in the season, was in the MVP considerations. Led the Vikings to what was it, 13-3 or something. People thought the season was lost.
yeah. And
So
I
I'm
think
okay with Burrow winning it.
it,
Darnold probably would be my close second if I were to pick someone else.
yeah, it's funny because when I was watching it, and I didn't get to watch the entire thing. I was actually out and about, but I saw it on a TV that I was out at a bar downtown, and they just show like little clips of the nominees before they present the award. And I didn't know who all the nominees were, and they're going down the list, and all of a sudden I see Sam Darnold. Like they show a clip, and I'm like, oh, Sam has to win it. Like this guy was labeled as a bust,
Mm-hmm.
and just comes out and led the team to like how many, like 12 wins or something,
Yeah.
like crazy. Like,
I mean, going into the night, I thought he was going to win it. Like in
oh
the back of my head, I thought Darnold was going to win it, but I
yeah,
don't I'm
well,
not upset that Burrow won.
no, like I said, I was watching it and I see Sam Darnold. I'm like, oh, like he's got to win it. And then all of a sudden they show a clip of Joe Burrow, and I'm like, Joe Burrow is
Man.
up for nomination. He's gonna sweep it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even gonna be close. I mean, over 4,900 passing yards,
Yeah.
43 touchdowns, which led the league. Led the league in the passing yards too. Only 9 interceptions to 43 touchdowns, and had the third highest QBR in the league with 74.7. I mean, he's just a
What do you say?
dog. Just a dog.
Get them in a defense, and
Yeah.
that team will be dangerous.
But it's the Sam Darnold conversation is funny because it depends on what you mean by comeback player of the year. Because some people label it as like,
Sure.
oh, you came back from an injury. Some people it's like, oh, you came back from like a down year. I think that there needs to be just like a little bit more of a definition of what that means,
What do you mean
because
by it?
if it's by injury, I mean, you give it to DeMar or Burrow. But if it's, kind of like a Geno Smith type deal, oh, you had an awful career and then all of a sudden, you came back statistically,
Yeah.
then it's Sam, because he came from negative 1,000 to 2,000.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah, I mean, if we can get a clear definition, I guess they kind of just leave it at that because interpret it for what you want,
yeah.
whether it be injury, whether it be like a Sam Darnold, backup doing nothing last year to top 5 quarterback in the league statistically this year. Let's not gloss over the come on back player of the year this year, Joy Taylor.
Yeah.
Let's not forget to mention that.
I wish we could put that on the screen. That was phenomenal.
That was fun. We have Thomas here in the comments. Thomas, thanks for being here. Josh Allen deserves MVP. We'll get there, Thomas. We'll get there.
We're gonna get there.
I'll hold my.
It's funny. He also mentioned
until our moment.
He also mentioned Burrow didn't sound pleased to win that award, and yeah, he walks up to the podium and it looks very downtrodden. I mean, you could see the defense in his eyes, basically. He wanted MVP, man, and I think that had he even just made it to a single playoff game, there's a chance that he wins. But it's tough. He had tough competition, which
probably deserves a little more than. Hold my thoughts.
Let's get there. We'll get there. Okay, moving on. That was the comeback player of the year. The next award was the offensive player of the year. Saquon Barkley, baby.
Yeah, I mean
historic.
It was either him or Jamar Chase for me there. Which I get why Saquon won. I do.
I mean, top 9
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to
season
argue against
rushing yards
them.
of all time. Led the
However,
league in
Jamar Chase was Triple Crown winner, and I think it's happened, 5 times in history, 6 times in history. So the fact that he won Triple Crown, it not even didn't win Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think he got a single vote for Offensive Player of the Year, which is just benign to me.
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell is doing these votes, but
No,
I
the
think
votes are a little skewed. I saw a
to be a
similar thing.
Triple Crown winner and not have a single vote for Offensive Player of the Year is just
Yeah, it was kind of wild. Speaking of
it
Saquon
makes no
and the
sense.
voting too, I think Saquon had a total of 2 votes for MVP, which is like also kind of wild when you look
I
at
don't know. See,
like
I mean,
no one gave this guy like I don't know. I get it. An MVP is tougher, obviously, but you
did
know,
Cup win Offensive Player of the Year? I'm pretty sure he did. Yes, I'll have to look back and check, but I'm almost certain he did. But I mean, when you think about it, you have guys like Dan Orlovsky and Emmanuel Acho voting, so it makes sense why.
yeah,
Shade
Cooper.
throwing. I
Yeah,
think those guys are blind.
Cup did win Offensive Player of the Year, by the way.
Okay.
But I mean, obviously, I'm biased. Saquon, he did lead the league in rushing yards, or 2005 rushing yards. Led the league in carries as well, 345, 13 touchdowns, which places 8th overall in the league, and he probably would have gotten more if Jalen didn't steal some of those with a tush push. And averaged 5.8 yards a carry, which I think just the biggest reason is, I mean, it's just the rushing. It's the rushing.
Tom, there's just something about Orlovsky I don't like. I don't know. Just I don't know.
What's that?
Dan Orlovsky. I threw some shade
in
at
the
him
comments,
earlier.
there's
Thomas loves him. I don't know. There's something about him I don't like. Just too smug and thinks he's smarter than he is.
He's a little arrogant for a guy that had the career he had in the NFL.
Yeah, you were the quarterback of an 0-16 team, and then you want to come on national television and tell everyone else,
Yeah, I don't hate the guy, but sometimes
no, I don't hate him. It's just
he peeves me off sometimes because he just carries himself in a particular way and acts like he knows everything, and then it's like, bro, you ran out of your own end zone for a safety.
Yeah, you were 0-16. You were the quarterback of an 0-16 team. Like,
and hey, if I went into the league, I'd probably be 0-16 too.
Sure,
but I'm not here acting like Dano. So
I mean,
each their own, Thomas. Each their own.
We won as many football games that year as he did. So
yeah, absolutely.
His name was being thrown around for QB coach. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense. You see a lot of these former players go into coaching roles who had like mediocre playing careers, and then they go into coaching and they're geniuses. So,
all right, let's jump into the next award here. Defensive Player of the Year award went to Mr. Patrick Surtain II.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick.
Cornerback.
I like the pick. I think it's cool that we didn't give it to just the leader in sacks this year, and we gave it to the most shutdown corner, leader of that defense, and you could arguably say, help carry that team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because without that defense playing as well as it did all year, I don't know if the Broncos make it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of one that I didn't really dig too deep into, and kind of was like, PS2 deserves it.
I mean, it's just been going to this leader in sacks for years and years now, and I kind of like the switch up.
It's nice to see some respect to the cornerbacks.
Sure.
Love a good cornerback. All right, we'll move on.
Plays on the opposite side of the field of
Riley Moss.
My Antonio Brown Cracker of the Year award winner.
Yeah, indeed, Mr. Riley Moss, baby.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next award was Offensive Rookie of the Year award, and this, I mean, kind of wasn't even close.
Yeah, not shocked by it. I think everyone and their mom knew that he was going to win it. However, I think we got to give some flowers to Brock Bowers. Broke the record for most receptions by a rookie on a very abysmal Raiders team with Minshew and O'Connell, and at some points Desmond Ridder throwing the ball. So just want to say, I think, Jaden Daniels probably deserves it, but I think Brock Bowers deserves a ton of credit for what he did this year.
Yeah, definitely deserves a mention, but Jaden threw 25 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. I didn't even know that. And 3,568 passing yards, and finished top 5 in QBR rating with a 70.5.
He was up there in completion percentage too, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean,
phenomenal year.
A rookie year. You led the Commanders. You led the Commanders to their first playoff appearance in 19 years. Like that's pretty damn good. Yeah, and you won.
You beat the number 1 seed.
Beat the damn Lions. So
in Detroit too.
So that one was pretty. That one was pretty clear. Now I don't think anybody was complaining about Jaden Daniels winning. Even myself as an Eagles fan, he played a phenomenal rookie year.
Absolutely deserved it.
The only other award here is the Walter Payton Man of the Year award and the MVP. Walter Payton Man of the Year, I mean, it went to Eric Armstead. We'll give him a shout out, but no one's complaining about a guy doing a good thing. All those guys that do that are pretty good. So we don't have to dig too deep into that.
We got defensive rookie too, Jared Verse.
Yes. Oh, yes. My bad.
Which, that was another one that I think was pretty. Well, I don't want to say clear cut because Quinion Mitchell had a great year, but I think Jared Verse had the 3rd highest double team rate in the whole league, behind Michael Parsons and Myles Garrett. And to draw that attention, as a rookie is impressive. And I started a IDP Dynasty League this year, just did our draft, and Jared Verse picked him up. Very happy about it.
Yeah, Jared Verse, he doesn't have the sexiest stats, 2 forced fumbles. He only has 4.5 sacks, which is tied for 95th place in the league. But like you said, I think it's like it comes in the form of double teams, him soaking up a lot of that offensive line and pressure rate. Yeah, that's where.
He'll be a force.
Yeah,
that Rams defense has a lot of nice young pieces on it.
Yeah,
I like that Rams defense.
Yeah, they just need to get a corner. That's what I think they're probably going to do in the offseason here. They get a corner, solid lockdown corner, and they're going to be good. Right. I don't know what's going on with Matt Stafford. He's getting older, but, he's still playing his heart out. Get out of the playoffs.
Trade speculations. You saw Malik Neighbors tweeting out 9 and 10 with a Ram emoji. Guess, it's all hearsay.
Rams, no, he's not going. That would be ridiculous.
Stafford and Kupp go to the Giants.
No, oh my God. Well, Kupp's going to go to Green Bay.
I mean, I don't think it happens, but
Kupp's going to go to Green Bay. I mark my words right here on the show right now. I think he's going to go to Green Bay.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on Green Bay off-season speculation only because I don't want to. I'm gonna give myself these high hopes and expectations, and I don't want to do that because if we end up not doing anything this offseason, I don't want to be upset. So just to avoid upsetting myself in the future, I'm just gonna see how things play out.
I mean, unless he goes to the Bills, the Bills, like you just got Amari Cooper, like I don't know.
My sleeper pick on where Kupp goes is the Denver Broncos. Don't sleep.
That's not bad either. I think that they're going to try and reunite Bo Nix with Tez Johnson though too in the draft, so they might go wide receiver. I mean, obviously, you probably won't go until a little bit later. But
you don't think DK is gone? I mean, he's not happy there. I mean, he's going to be, when you hear about receiver trade speculations, his name will be, floating around all off season.
Yeah, DK.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I don't know yet.
I feel like if you're Seattle, like you want to keep him, obviously.
Sure.
You want to keep him. That's just going to come down to if he decides to, pull a Myles Garrett and say, "Get me out." Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's too early to tell if DK's gone yet or not. That's a guy I hear rumors Green Bay was gonna, give Seattle a call and be like, hey,
Let's
the DK
look
guy
it
you
up.
got. Yeah.
That would be wild. DK doesn't seem like a Packer.
Like, you got a DK, we got a Jair. What you think?
Jair, unfortunately, is not looking very sexy right now, I don't think. But
He's probably not be back in Green Bay.
that's another team that's looking for corner in the draft. It's the Green Bay Packers.
Big time.
Yeah. All right. The final award is the NFL Most Valuable Player. And at this point, I think it should just be called Quarterback of the Year.
Yeah, at this point. Me and my friend Chris talk about the MVP award all the time and how it's not even like an MVP award anymore. It's just like who had decent stats and who was a popular player this year. It's not even player, like you said, it's quarterback. It's almost like a popularity contest at this point.
Yeah.
It's not even valuable. It's just who is popular.
Mm-hmm.
Who can we give it to?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at it stats wise, like Allen did not deserve it.
Oh no! I mean, I got the stats right in front of me.
I prepared some stuff to go off here too. Lamar Jackson. I mean, I haven't heard a good excuse why Allen won it other than, oh, he did more with less. Like, well, one, he didn't do more. So, yeah, did he have less, weapons around him? Sure, you can make the argument. Absolutely.
Oh,
however, you played in a weaker division. You were the only team in your division that was over 500. So that's 6 games off the bat where you're playing sub 500 teams. Whereas if you look at Baltimore, there's only one team in their division below 500. So you're playing, 2 other teams above 500 twice, and you're playing it. And another team in that division made the playoffs. The Ravens had, out of all the playoffs teams, had the toughest strength of schedule. So it's not like, they caked walked. Yeah, he may have had more weapons, but he was playing tougher opponents.
Yeah. So Josh Allen here sits at 14th ranked in the league with passing yards with a little over 3,700. Okay, respectable number. Not not top 10, not top 5, but still, he knew how to throw that rock around, right?
Sure.
28 passing touchdowns. That's tied for 7th. To 6 interceptions. Again, pretty respectable ratio, and he did have the highest ranked QBR in the league with 77.3. So that is a stat you have to look at. And people say, "Oh, well, 28 touchdowns. Yeah, that's only passing. He's great at rushing the ball." And that is correct. He had 12 rushing touchdowns on top of the 28. So that's what 40 total touchdowns. Right.
Lamar Jackson had 45 total touchdowns.
Right. Okay. But then, Josh Allen, but the touchdowns, but he also likes, he's great at rushing. Like, he ran for 531 yards. Yeah, but
that's
Lamar
great.
Jackson,
Lamar ran for 915.
Almost 1,000.
Yeah.
Lamar had almost 1,000 rushing yards. Was 6th overall in passing yards with over 4,000. Had 41 passing touchdowns alone. Okay, so already his passing touchdowns, he had more than Josh Allen's total touchdowns.
Yep.
Lamar only threw 4 picks.
Yep.
4 picks, and he is a hair, like a pubic hair, behind Josh Allen in QBR. Josh Allen had a 77.3 QBR, number 1 in the league. Lamar had 77.2, a decimal point away from at least having the same exact QBR.
Sure.
And I'm not shit talking Josh here, but I just I don't know why. What happened? What did you just get sick of voting for Lamar for MVP because he won last year?
It's the same thing. Like when Embiid won it over Jokic, it's just voter fatigue at this point.
I know, but it's just, I don't know how you could even argue with those stats. And
You
like
can't.
like you said,
I mean,
did
I
he
can't.
did he do more with less? I mean, he had less, but he didn't do more. If he did less with less, like obviously
Yeah,
the expectation for the Bills this season was okay. They're cutting half their team. They're losing their wide receivers. Stephon Diggs is gone. They're losing key players on defense, and Josh Allen's going to have to carry the team, and he did. He did carry that team deep into the playoffs.
sure, but
However,
we can't overlook the fact too that James Cook had like 18 touchdowns, right?
yeah. Well, James Cook was great too. Yeah.
Or like 16 or something, like a lot of touchdowns.
What the killer, I think, was, um, and this is the problem with the MVP award as well. Not only is there this weird definition of it's pretty much most valuable quarterback, um, but this is supposed to be a regular season award, and
Sure.
it's hard to divide the regular and postseason when you think about the award because obviously you want winners. You want a winner
Yeah.
to get the award. I brought it up earlier talking about Jaden Daniels. He led the team to the playoffs, which you do that in the regular season, but he also performed well postseason. I think that when you look at that playoff game against Baltimore and Buffalo, that's the MVP right there. That was the fight for the MVP in the public's eyes and apparently in the voters' eyes as well. Because technically you could say Josh beat Lamar, even though he beat the defense and Mark Andrews should have caught that pass. But Lamar turned over the ball twice that game. Wasn't in the regular season though, but because he did it, and it was against Josh, it doesn't look very good. So I don't know if they just need to change the definition and involve the postseason or have the voters vote before playoffs even occur.
Yeah.
Or how they have to control that, because I think that narrative is just something that drives voters too much, because on paper, I mean, I hate to say it's night and day, but it is night and day. Lamar had
Maybe have like the
another
award
historic
ceremony,
season.
like you said, lock in the votes before the playoffs start.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to add on all the points you just made, Lamar Jackson, first quarterback in NFL history with over 4,000 passing yards and over 800 rushing yards. Actually, at over 900.
Yeah.
First quarterback in NFL history with at least 40 touchdowns and 4 fewer interceptions. He not just fourth best passer rating this year, fourth best passer rating of all time in NFL history, fourth best all time. First reigning MVP to throw 40 passing touchdowns the following year. Ravens are the first team in NFL history with over 4,000 passing yards and 3,000 rushing yards. And I see, Thomas in the comments here, he has Derrick Henry. Yeah, but Lamar Jackson accounted for 27% of the rushing yards that team had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what's funny, and I don't know if I feel like Lamar's a likable guy. Like, I was going to say, I don't know if it's because Josh Allen is just like this likable dude, but like Lamar's a likable guy. Like, maybe he's not like, he's got the shiesty on, he's got the chains out. Maybe he's not, your typical, white, boring guy who, golfs like Josh Allen. Not that Josh Allen's boring. But he's dating Haley Steinfeld, and it's just like this big image.
Like I said, it was a popularity contest this year, I think.
But let me just, I want to bring this up really quick, because.
But the thing too, Lamar wins first team All Pro quarterback, and then loses MVP to a different quarterback.
Yeah,
People wouldn't be as up in arms about it. Like say Saquon won, right? Like say Saquon won MVP, different position. You can't really have the argument. But when you lose to a guy who's statistically worse than you are
in every category,
in basically
except for QBR,
category,
except for QBR,
basically every quarter,
I have a decimal point.
with the same voters that Thomas said too. Yeah. So I don't understand what these voters think, like, oh yeah, he was the best quarterback in the league, but he's not the most valuable quarterback in the league. And I know value best. Is it the same? Is it different? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's funny though. People have put respect, not recently, and obviously
because then if we're actually talking true value, then we got to start looking at, a few years ago when TJ Watt won Defensive Player of the Year. When he wasn't on the field, the Steelers defense was terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't think they won a game when he wasn't on the field.
Yeah.
However, when they play, they were a top 5 defense and were shut down.
Yeah. I think it's funny too. The biggest thing about Lamar's stats that sticks out to me, I mean, obviously the passing yards and rushing yards are insane, and the QBR, you gotta, you know what I mean? Not to downplay any of those other stats, but 41-4.
Yeah.
41-4, and someone
throw for 40 or more touchdowns and 4 less interceptions. Never been done before until this year.
And someone made a video. I wish we could pull it up here and put it on the screen, but it was from 2 or 3 of those 4 interceptions, and they showed like what they were, and it is Lamar hitting the wide receiver perfectly in the hands, perfectly right on the money, and the wide receiver just like bobbling it because he's a shitty wide receiver. They really don't have like a true like outside, number 1 wide receiver, and Zay Flowers, whatever, kind of like a slot shifty guy, whatever. But bricks off their hands and goes in the air and falls on the DB's hands, and it's like, yeah, it's still technically counts as an interception, but like the dude is playing nearly perfect football. And I think it's really funny because when you think about that, a ratio like that, 41-4, which is historic, but you think about those types of ratios, what do you think of?
I mean, you look at guys like
Aaron Rodgers
in his prime. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, one of the better, most, accurate, like safe quarterbacks, always protects the football. And I think does Rodgers have 1 MVP?
Yes, 3 or 4.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, what does he got to do? What more does Lamar have to do?
I don't know.
Does he have to win the playoffs?
So my thing is, due to my logic, Lamar shouldn't have won it last year. And if Lamar did win it, he did win it last year. He was better in every statistical category this year and didn't win it.
I don't know, man.
Like I said, I don't agree with him winning last year, but he absolutely, to me, hands down, should have won it this year.
Yeah. I don't even think I remember watching it and hearing about it, being like, oh, okay, that's good for Josh. And it is good for Josh. But at the same time, oh my God, was Lamar snubbed? Like,
oh yeah.
It was not as close as I initially thought that it was.
The biggest snubbing since Brock Purdy last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Allen had 0 wide receivers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Lamar had 0 wide receivers. Zay Flowers went down.
Zay Flowers went down. Mark Andrews was a shell of himself. Likely was inconsistent. Yeah, you had Henry, but then you also had James Cook, and you had Amari Cooper, who you went out and traded for. Granted, he's not, Amari Cooper of old. You had a first-round receiver you drafted, which I get.
You could argue that
drafting him in the first round doesn't mean he's going to be good, but it's not like he didn't have weapons.
No, you could argue
we're making it sound like he's thrown to like nobody's out there.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, if the case is that we're going to give it to someone who plays well with no weapons, then Tom Brady should have 9 MVP awards.
Yeah.
You see, go back and look at some of those teams that he won with. Like, he should have 9 MVP awards.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's just my take. I think that he was snubbed, but still good for Allen. Good for Josh, because Josh has I mean, I feel like part of it, like, you got to feel bad for Josh too. Like, he's not that you really should, but
I mean,
a lot of people kind of do, especially because the way that
I
they
don't feel
lost it.
bad for him.
I
What is
think
there
that
to
the
feel
way
bad
that
for him about?
I think the way that they lost against the Chiefs with the calls was you have to
Well,
feel bad
yeah.
for
I
him.
mean, we've had that conversation
Not
many
not
times.
that
It's a different
not that you feel
conversation.
bad for him not winning anything or performing well, because that's all on him in the past couple of years where they fall short and fall short and fall short. And they always think that they're the Bills look really good this year. Oh, the Bills look really good. Oh, this is finally the year they make a push. And they always get into the playoffs and they fall off.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying you feel bad for him because of that, although some people probably do. But just the way they lost, you got to feel a little bit bad. You know what I mean? For him putting it out on the
I mean,
table.
you could say that, but then you look a couple years ago with the whole changing in the overtime rule is they lost, but they changed the rules for them. So I
They
don't feel
did.
bad for them.
Yeah, but even in that game, if they had those rules, then who's to say that game doesn't go on until 3 o'clock in the morning and Josh Allen wins?
I mean, sure.
That game was insane. That was probably one of the most electric games I've seen in my life.
I'm just saying, and I don't know if my friend Greg is watching this or not, but I think when you start looking, I know the whole narrative, and don't get me wrong, I think this is truly narrative. Mahomes is favored and has helped out. But I think a lot of
I
people
don't think it's
overlook the
fair.
favoritism that Josh Allen gets. I think Josh Allen gets a whole ton of favoritism that no one talks about.
Well, not from the refs. I mean, there is
He has
compilations of
the
him
most roughing
flopping.
the passer penalties
Yeah,
called in his favor since 2018.
I was gonna say he is a big flopper.
Yeah.
Uh, so there's that.
I mean,
But
the Bills themselves aren't favored, but I think Josh Allen himself is.
yeah,
Like,
he's
I think that it would be worse, like, switch Mahomes and Allen. Like, if Allen was the quarterback of the Chiefs, like, it would be so much worse than it is right now. And maybe that's a hot take, and I think we can only look at it because, we're living in the world where Mahomes is the quarterback of the Chiefs.
yeah, it's just hard to say.
However, I don't know. I think, I think the narrative needs to start that Josh Allen is a, very favored
Well,
quarterback.
I'm gonna segue perfectly into the Super Bowl here. My shout out to my buddy JT at work. He asked me a very good question yesterday. He said that I don't even like talking about this, but I'm knocking on wood and on my head and everything. If Jalen, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, right? Where does Jalen stack up amongst the quarterbacks, and how does that shift?
Like current quarterbacks, like in the league
Current
today.
quarterbacks in the league. And I said my answer was number 1 and number 2. There's a drop off after number 1 and number 2. And I put Mahomes obviously at number 1. Most people probably would. And I put Burrow at 2. And then I think there's a little bit of a drop off where then you have guys like
I mean,
Lamar.
Lamar, I
You
feel
have
like it's Lamar right there too. I think Lamar's right there with those two.
he's yeah.
So I would say
He's up there
those
with them.
three, and then maybe a slight drop off. Yeah,
And then you have after
Allen.
Allen, and then who do you put after Allen?
Well, I wasn't ready for ranking quarterbacks here, but I mean, you look at, yeah. So I mean, you start, put them how you want: Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, Allen. You can look at guys like Goff.
You put Goff at 5.
I mean, I would have to sit down and really look at it, but I mean, I think it depends on how Jalen Hurts plays. Like if Jalen Hurts comes out and throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, put some respect on his name. However, when they win, if they come out, Eagles win, but Hurts has 180 yards, a touchdown, but Saquon has 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, then it's not really Hurts's. Saquon was the reason you won. It wasn't Hurts.
No, but
at that point, you're looking at like.
Are we just gonna forget about the Super Bowl 3 years ago though, when he did do all of those things against the Chiefs in
Well,
prime
no,
time in the
not at
Super
all.
Bowl, or the season that he had last year before they had Barkley. Like I didn't. My coworker was pushing for him to be like top 3 quarterback, which
I think he's
I
top 3.
wouldn't put him there.
He's top
But
10. Again, I would
regardless
have
of
to, like,
how
really
he
sit
plays
down.
in the Super Bowl, I think that there's an argument to be had of, do you value a quarterback based on their stats solely, or their ability to perform when they have to perform, or somewhere kind of in the middle? Because guys like Allen and guys like Lamar, as much as I like both of those players, especially Lamar, I've been a Lamar fan for a while. I always say that if I had to pick an AFC team, it'd be the Ravens. But those guys don't perform. They're like, they need the blue pill when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I
and
agree.
and it's like, who do you want after that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm putting
I
Jalen
mean, I think you have to
above
take a
both
lot
those
of things
guys.
in consideration, because if you look at it like, bad playoff records, then Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers definitely take a dip there. You probably take that they're no longer arguably top 5 quarterbacks of all time then, because their playoff records stink. So I mean, you kind of got to take a little bit, a whole lot of everything.
Yeah, it is a
And
whole lot.
in that case, if we're talking like playoff success, then Eli Manning is a better quarterback than the both of them.
That's exactly what I said.
You know,
That's exactly what I threw right back at him. And it is funny. And I don't think that Eli's a schlep or anything. Like Eli,
no, but he's not.
no, there's a reason why he's not going into the Hall of Fame first
Yeah,
ballot this year.
which he shouldn't have, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at everything. I mean, obviously you want the playoff success, but if you have to look at the stats and stuff too, like it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Where Jalen Hurts falls exactly, I don't know. He's probably a top 10 quarterback. Let me make my ranking. I'll get back to you by next show on that one.
I think he is at least top 10. At least.
Yeah. I'll make my rankings, and I'll get back to you, and I'll tell you where he lands.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say he's top 10.
Speaking of my boy Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl is tomorrow, and oh my God, yesterday went by so slow for me. I know today's gonna go by just as slow. I'm literally counting down the minutes that pass by.
It's going to go super slow once we hop off here, because I have to go to the DMV. So,
oh well, time travels at a different speed there, man.
DMV hours, it'll be an hour real time, and it's 3 hours in the DMV. So,
yeah, it's a different time zone.
To that one.
Yeah, it'll be at the DMV at noon, and it'll be 3:00 where I'm at.
Yeah. Really.
What a way. But regardless of what time zone you're in, actually that's not true. But where I am living and where Cody's living, tomorrow at 6:30, the Super Bowl kicks off. Holy dear God, man. Thomas, I'm saving the blow of the whistle. Saving the blow of the whistle. I hope that the blow of the whistle could happen tomorrow. But Cody, you know that I am somewhat what's the word? Superstitious as you are when it comes to certain things. I usually bite my tongue when it comes to talking about my Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a Philadelphia Eagle fan, for those of you that are unaware. How do you think this is going to go tomorrow, man? What's the thought process, and what's your pick? I need to hear the breakdown and the pick from you. I'm going to let you kind of do a lot of the digesting and talking, because I got to bite my tongue a little bit.
Sure. So I forget who I was speaking to, but him and I basically came to the conclusion that this Eagles defense is formulated to stop this Chiefs offense. I think how the game goes, it's going to be a very slow first half. I think we might see a couple, 3 and outs, maybe a couple 1 first down drives. It's going to be a very slow first half, I think. going to the halftime, you're probably looking at a score, maybe 7-3, 10-7, 13-10,
Wow,
somewhere along
okay.
those lines. And I think the second half is where it's going to pop up, pop off. Both these teams are very good at making halftime adjustments. I mean, it's going to be somewhat reminiscent of the last time they played in the Super Bowl. Back and forth, very close. I'm just envisioning a very slow first half because it seems like, all year you can make the argument that both of these teams are very kind of slowish in the first half. But we'll see. That's what I meant.
A lot of talking heads have it projected.
Yeah, I'm thinking
as a
it's
low
be
scoring game.
very slow first half. Second half, I think, is where we'll see most of the excitement. Those players are going to go locker room, hear some, not like us, 4 times encore.
I'm excited for the halftime show.
I'm excited for that too.
SZA and Kendrick, and there may be a surprise
Kendrick.
appearance or two. We don't know. Lil Wayne pops out, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know if Wayne's making the Carter 6, so he's busy. I've been hearing Tyler the Creator might make a.
Yeah, he put out that tweet though. Did you see that? He's like, "I'm on tour right now. I'm not popping out no show." But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. So I envision, who do I think wins? It's the difference between who I think and who I want. I want the Eagles to win. However, it's hard to say who I think's going to win. It's going to be a close game. I mean, I kind of have to think the Chiefs are going to win as much as I don't want it to happen. And I was saying it last night at the bar. My prediction of how this game ends is Eagles are going to be down like 2 and driving with like maybe say a minute or so left. And the Eagles are going to have a big play that gets them in the field goal position. And that little yellow thing with a little bit of sand on the rubber band.
Oh, no.
Out of a pocket, tossed up in the air, brings them back. And they just stall out from there. I could see it now, man. I could see it
Cody,
now.
If that happens, you are going to see the biggest crash out of your life.
I said that the city of Philadelphia needs to prepare, win or lose. There will be a riot either way.
I am going to turn on the song GTA by Metro Boomin and Future, and I'm going to crash out.
At least we'll be watching it together, so I know, like, I can take your car keys away and any sharp objects. And
well, Cody, we may not be watching it together, brother.
Oh man! Well, never mind, everybody.
So no saving me. There's no saving me.
Well, wherever you go, have someone.
We'll talk about that. We'll break that down post show. We'll talk about that post show. But
hide your car keys. Keep sharp objects away from you. No access to ropes or toasters and bathtubs.
I'm gonna have multiple firearms on the presence. There's gonna be all the knives out.
To himself.
It's gonna be like Ana de Armas. I'm gonna be like Ana de Armas with all these knives I'm gonna have out on the table during the game. Dude, I am so nervous. I am more nervous.
I mean that's just.
But more nervous. More nervous than 3 years ago, because was it 3 years ago or 2 years ago? Because I'm tripping. 2 years ago. Because this is rematch. This is not a random team. This is not just the Lions, the Lions, and they're in the NFC already. This is not like the Bills, okay? This is not like the Bengals. This is the damn dirty Kansas City Chiefs that won by a flag 2 years ago and have continued the narrative of winning by flags this season. Yep. And I like to bite my tongue on these things. I'm superstitious, but I'm going to sort of walk around it. But tell you that if the Philadelphia Eagles want to win this game, they need to win this game. The way that they have to win this game, it cannot come down to 3 points. It cannot come down to 7 points.
It's like the old saying back in the 2000s when teams were playing the Lakers. You got to win by 15 to win by 1.
Seriously. I forget what the old saying is too. It's like if you want to be the champ, you have to like knock out the champ or something like
Yeah.
we're gonna have to like act like I don't want
Sure.
to say anything about injuries, but like you gotta like really hammer them. You know what I'm saying? Like this cannot be put in the hands of a referee of okay, well, we're gonna allow the game to be called by the refs. Like, no, you need to turn this into Tampa Bay against the Chiefs 4 years ago or
Yeah.
whenever that was, where it was 9-35. There was
So,
nothing. The refs couldn't do anything
yeah, there's no ref up
if
there.
they wanted to. Tom
Jack,
Brady.
imagine the scenario. Mahomes gets knocked out of the game early in the game, like first quarter. Carson Wentz comes in and leads the Chiefs to a win over the Eagles.
Well, did you watch the Broncos game when he went in?
It was like 39-0, yeah.
So I'm not talking shit on Carson.
And the Seahawks lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl on the interception. I literally cried. Yeah. Like Hardy likes to say, run the damn ball. That's all you had to do there. Yeah, I can imagine, like, Thomas, I don't mean to pick on you here, but being a Seahawks fan and you're literally a yard away from winning the Super Bowl, and you have, at that time, the league's most powerful running back in your backfield, and all you have to do,
hand him the rock.
Hike, turn, hand. Because
it wasn't even
you get stuck there.
It wasn't even fourth. It wasn't even fourth down though, I believe.
Yeah, it was second down.
Yeah, just hand it to him 3 times.
Do it. Guess what? Get stuffed. Guess what? You turn around, you do the same
thing again.
Then maybe on fourth down, then you'll go, okay, maybe now I got to throw it. But you have 2 chances for Marshawn Lynch to get you 1 goddamn yard. The probability of that is, I don't know if there's an actual probability that we can figure out, but it's got to be like 90,
the next gen stats
99%. Then, yeah.
Dude, Chat GPT would be screaming at you.
Oh,
yeah. For it.
I'm just going to play call this day. Yeah, Tom, yes. I think the only person, and I don't even think Pete Carroll understands the play call. I don't even know.
My favorite is the shot.
I don't even know if he was calling the plays. I don't even know if whoever called that play understood the play call.
Carroll's a defensive guy, so I don't think that he would have called that, yes. But who knows?
I get maybe you're like trying to trick the defense, possibly. I don't know. Hey, we could do a little. We can go off on a little.
Yeah, that
was course here. Boys, Dynasty trade question. Alex Sandberg, thanks for being here. Yeah, drop in the comments.
Oh, wait, Cody.
Oh, hold on. We got. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just before we segue into, because I do like the questions, and we'll jump right into those questions. Just for the record, to put a period at the end of this segment here, the Super Bowl. Was that your pick? What's the pick? I gotta hear the pick.
Okay, the pick is Chiefs by 2.
Okay.
As much as it pains me to say, the pick is Chiefs by 2.
By 2.
Yes.
Put it in the FanDuel, boys. Book it.
Don't get me fooled. Don't be fooled. I'll be voting for the Eagles, hoping that the Eagles, win. But as far as who I think wins, unfortunately, I think the Chiefs do.
We will see tomorrow. All right. Well,
have some questions. I did some research, some prop bets here. If we want to run through those, a little bit. Better we could save those for the Instagram.
Whatever you want to do, man.
All right. Well, let's see. Perk Almighty says T-Law or Michael Penix is QB3 in a Superflex Dynasty. Give me Penix every day.
Oh, I was gonna say Trev.
Nah, gonna be Penix.
I think that the Jaguars have a bounce back year.
They have been saying the Jaguars are going to have a bounce back year every year. Trevor Lawrence has been in the league, and he's just been the most mediocre quarterback since coming into the league.
Yeah, but Penix is left-handed, so that means he's.
So
no, I don't know.
I mean, I know small sample size in those 3 games he played, but he made some very good throws, and he's young, and he's mobile, and he has a better offense around him.
I think that it's fair to say that Penix has the higher floor, but Lawrence has the higher ceiling. For me,
No, I think
I feel like Trevor has
I
potential
don't know. I don't know if yeah. I mean, it's Penix for me all day. I don't know.
I don't know. I like both of them are going to have some. It's going to depend on what happens in free agency and the draft.
See, I think kind of opposite.
Too.
I think Lawrence might. No, I don't even think he gives you the better floor. I think Penix gives you the better everything. The only thing that would worry me about Penix is they probably run the ball a lot. They probably run it a little more than Jacksonville does next year. But I mean,
yeah, I could. Yeah, but I could see that if the Falcons end up doing something where they want to scheme around the run and turn Bijan into a CMC, like you could see the potential of Penix turning it into the fantasy version of what Brock Purdy is, which is like a very, very, very solid starting quarterback. You know,
yeah, I don't know.
Every now and then he'll give you a week where he only gets his 6 points, but like he averages like at least like Brock Purdy probably averages like 20 some points. Like that's fine. That's fine.
I don't know. Penix for me all day, and I'm not going to think much about
Duval, yeah.
Duval.
That's why I'm picking Trevor because of the new head coach. That's my reasoning.
It's corny. All right, Alex, QB, May, Kyler, Bo, RBs, week addressing and draft, Tracy, Javonte, Aaron Jones, wide receivers, Thomas Jr., Ladd, McMillan, Leggett, Bowers, picks 3, 4. Got a lot of picks there. Now, wow, here's the question.
Jeez.
Alex, do I trade Ladd, 104, early, mid 2026 for Puka, and a mid? Oh,
there's a deep trade here.
I don't know. Let's see. Ladd in the 104. I think it said it's super flex, right?
Okay, wait.
Remember.
Yeah, but what are you getting?
Kirk Almighty said it was his league was super flex. I don't. It depends. So the drafting is going to change if it's super flex or not. Because if it's super flex, you probably see Sanders and Ward go 1-2. So at 104, I mean, you get a shot at T Mac or JT there. But if it's not super flex, you're probably not getting either of those guys. Oh, it is super flex. Okay. So let me look at the team again. So Ladd 104, an early to mid second rounder next year for Puka, and a mid to late first next year. And then who do we have? So we're trading Ladd. I mean, you still have the 103, so that's not. You have the draft capital.
Yeah.
Bowers.
I mean,
I definitely like Puka more than Ladd.
Right. Well, especially if Cooper Kupp ends up in LA. So
yeah, I mean, I don't hate that trade because you still have the 103, which if you want to address. Yeah, 103 in super flex. If your RB's a week, you can probably get JT there. And then at 9, you could probably get another one of those running backs. Maybe Hampton Falls, or who's the dude from Michigan that I can't? Or no, Iowa, Caleb Johnson. Maybe he falls there. So there you go. You get 2 running backs there,
awesome, dude.
So yeah, I mean, for that, go get your stud Puka. Absolutely. I think Ladd's a stud. I think he'll be a stud.
Ooh.
Make kind of bow. Yeah, I don't hate it. But I'm high on Ladd, but Puka's a stud. Yeah, go do it.
Did you see
you still have that early, you still have 3rd overall, 9th overall. If your biggest need, because your quarterbacks are fine. May you're fine with, Bo you're good with, Kyler's a good 3rd. Yeah, if receivers, because Puka gives you that star. You can get a couple running backs with pick 3, 9, and 10. Yeah, go ahead, do it.
Did you see Perk Almighty? Does your answer change on the Trevor Lawrence versus Penix if he also has Brian Thomas Jr.? I
understand like having the stack, but I've never been a guy to care about the stack because guess what? If Jacksonville has a game where they put up nothing, guess what? You have 2 dudes in your lineup that gave you nothing that week.
Yes.
However, I know vice versa. If they go off for 40 points,
right? If you're betting on one guy, you might as well bet on the other.
I've never been. I mean, it's nice to have a stack. I get why people do it. I've never been one to care for it. You know
I
what I mean?
also believe the
It
stat.
doesn't change. It doesn't change my mind. I still want Penix.
That makes me want Lawrence even more. If I had a stack,
Mm-hmm.
But we're two
I
sides
don't.
of the coin here, so you get to pick
Well, look
for
at that.
yourself.
He has London and Brian Thomas Jr., so he's the stack either
Okay.
way.
Jeez,
So
wow.
give me
Wow.
Penix.
I still
My
like
answer is Penix, unless you tell
Trev.
me unless you know something about how you can see the future and Trevor Lawrence has an MVP season. My answer is Penix. Jack, his
I like
answer is
Trev.
Lawrence.
Yeah, so you kind of just gotta. We're no help for you,
You can
basically.
RB
Bro.
at
You kind of
3,
have to
like
take your
Hampton,
own.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, at 3 in Superflex, there's a good chance you could get JT, depending if the first two guys might go quarterback. So if you go Sanders Ward, JT's right there for you at 3.
What could be quarterback?
Or if you like Hampton better.
What about Travis
Yeah.
Hunter?
The thing about him is
Depends on what he's going to
a
play.
lot of people are scouting him as a corner. So if you draft him, buyer beware. If you draft him in Dynasty and then it comes out that he's not playing offense, you kind of wasted your pick there.
Yeah, he may fall for that reason, yeah.
Because, will he play receiver in the NFL? We don't know. We'll see. He wants to, but how much is he going to play at receiver in the NFL?
Yeah.
Because I know he wants to play both sides, but the team that drafts him might not want to play on both sides.
Dude, there's a lot of good rookies this year for fantasy, dude.
4 would be Burden or next best RB after. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you get Puka and you have Brian Thomas Jr., I mean, you're not. Excuse me. You don't really have to worry about drafting a receiver early. But, I mean, do the trade, draft a running back at 3, go get another one at 9 and 10. And, I mean, you don't have to draft 3 running backs, but definitely, take 2 running backs with those top 10 picks you have, whether you do 3, 9, 3, 10, save it for 9 and 10 if you want to get one of those quarterbacks because they're not that have in Superflex. Yeah, in your first 3 picks, I would definitely go for two running backs. Caleb Williams and Purdy are my other quarterbacks.
Okay, so yeah, you got a pretty good little lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Penix. Stacks don't really matter unless it's best ball potentially. Yes, yeah. I mean, it's nice having a stack if that team has a great game that week. We got to look at the flip side. If that team has a bad game that week, then what's the point of having the stack? Because now you have just 2 duds in your lineup. I'll break the tie and say Penix LL, dude, as canon. Yeah, dude, some of those throws he was making. I get we were talking a little earlier about it, stats, how much do they matter and stuff. Those last 3 games of the year. I mean, the last game of the year he went off. He had a great game. Mm-hmm. Stat wise, over the course of those 3 games, you look at it and you're not wowed. But when you see some of the throws he made, he's got the arm talent is phenomenal. The thing about Penix is I wish he was more mobile. He would be
that was also in my train of thought with the pick too. I could see Trevor running for his life and ending up in the end zone more frequently than I could see Penix.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
Penix also a little bit more injury prone is Penix. Not that you could project injuries on any player, but that is something to keep into account.
Sure. So we got another one. One last question: Penix, T-Law, or the 107? So wait,
you would get rid of
one
both.
of the 3? Oh, I guess pick one of the 3.
Would I rather have Penix,
Trevor Lawrence, or is it one of the 3, or Penix, or Trevor Lawrence and the 107? I have the 101 and 105. He says. So if it's one of the 3, I'm assuming it's Superflex. I think he said earlier. I don't know. I guess it depends what the rest of your team looks like. Because you don't need a quarterback.
He said that he already had Kendall Williams and Purdy. Remember? So
yeah, he said it's one of the 3. So if you can have one of the 3, yeah, you have Purdy Williams. So
if you already have Purdy Williams, then I might take the 7
or the 107, and then go bolsters another position or roster. Yeah, give me the pick.
I'd take the
107. I think it's a very fair value.
Plus, starting Brock Purdy is
Yeah, I mean, that, and I think, as much as it pains me to say as a Green Bay fan, I think the Bears, I think they make a step forward this year with Ben Johnson and year 2 at Caleb. And, you're kind of bringing all your weapons back.
Another guy that can use his legs a little bit, too.
We like to drop some hot takes here, but don't be surprised if you see Najee Harris in a Bears uniform next year.
Dude, Najee has just been so underwhelming, unfortunately. Like,
and he already has the 101 and 105. Yeah, go get the pick, because even if you trade Penix, you can take another quarterback for depth at any of those, at the 101, 105, or 107. Yeah, so I would do it. Trade Penix or Lawrence or whatever the option is. Get the 107. Get some depth elsewhere.
Yeah, get some RBs, some wide receivers, a little Luther Burden action, a little T-Mac, or
Purdy might be a Niner next year. Yeah, I mean, they say they want to sign him, but I don't know how much they want to pay him. Do I think a team pays him? Probably. How much does he get paid? I don't know. My friend Pat asked me this the other day too, and I don't know what the market is. He probably, I would not be surprised if we see Purdy around 35, 40 million a year.
At least.
Sounds just because the QB market.
Yeah, at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, there's also whispers of Rodgers going to the Niners too. It was his favorite team growing up from California.
Ooh.
Who knows? So, yeah, I mean, if Purdy wants too much money and Niners don't want to pay him, they could definitely, go get a rental, go get Rodgers, go get Cousins. There's going to be a couple names to bring Darnold back. I mean, you can bring Darnold back using your system last year.
Shanahan must be from Alabama the way he's loving those Cousins, man. That would be crazy to see where Kirk Cousins goes as well. Right, he's another guy floating around
here. Yeah, I mean, with that, you can get rid of Penix. Go get yourself another running back or two, just like the other, gentleman we had. So definitely, I would trade Penix. Go get another running back or two. I mean, you're good at receiver. You don't have to. I don't think you really have to address that. I mean, you have Bauer. Yeah, I mean, go trade Penix, and then same thing. Go get two running backs with your, 2 out of the 3 picks in however order. And then maybe at 101, go get, Shador, go get Cam Ward, which I want to like better. And then with pick 5, pick 7, go get running backs. It's probably what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to value. There's really no reason to value Penix if you already have so much depth at court. Not that Penix isn't marginal, like really better than a guy like Purdy or Caleb Williams at that point. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said,
you at that point you're just dashing to see if he reaches the peaks that people are hoping for him. But I mean, that's why you have Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm high on him. I think he'll be good. But however, I've been wrong plenty of times on players, and he could just be another middle of the road, kind of guy. And you can look back next year and you don't take that trade for the 107 and, you end up kicking yourself in the ass. But even if you trade him for the 107 or however that would play out, and then, he ends up playing good, at that point, you're just like, I still got the 107 for him, So I think the best play there is just go get the pick.
Yeah, I agree. Stash those picks, man.
Especially, I mean, it kind of looks like you might be in sort of rebuild with all the young guys and with who you have.
All those picks, too.
Doing a great job drafting, I will say.
Yeah.
You have Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, your receivers are set for the next, barring any unforeseen circumstances, the next at least 8 years, you're good there with those two guys. London's still young. DJ Moore's still good. Bowers, we talked about him to kick off the show a little bit. Yeah, you're doing all right. Go get the pick. Go get, draft.
Go get right.
Go get those, go get one of the young quarterbacks, Sanders or Ward, and then, stock up on some running backs, and you'll be all right.
Yes, sir.
Something random. Any hope for Javon Baker? I believe this is the receiver for the Patriots. Any
I
hope
didn't even
for
know
him?
who he was.
I believe, if I remember correctly, he's a receiver on the Patriots. Any hope for him? I mean, I have more hope for him now than I did last year. Now with um, Vrabel as the head coach and year two Drake May.
Having a better
I
year,
think.
and
I mean, I think the
they're
Patriots
gonna
are
help
going to
him out with a
go.
weapon this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I
They're
think the
gonna
Patriots are going to address their wide receiver room, so I don't really know where he'll be at as far as the pecking order of targets and snap share and plays. Hope for him, sure, I guess, but maybe I wouldn't. If you're in a dynasty league, you want to stash him at the end of your bench, sure, but I wouldn't. This is just me personally. I'm not going to expect anything too crazy from him. However, if we're having this conversation, the season's about to start and the Patriots don't really do anything and, the draft or free agency and they don't really address the receiver room, then I'll probably have a little more hope for them than I do today.
I actually disagree with that. I think that if they go and get someone like a Tedderall McMillan or someone in free agency, that might help his case more so than if, what the hell's his
Yeah,
name?
but I
Baker
think I think he was
goes
like
on an island because he could open up things. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to worry about it. And this isn't guaranteed, obviously. Some guys benefit and some guys don't benefit from it. But right
see,
now,
my
he's
only thing
obviously
is if
not
they do
benefiting.
address the room, he's just gonna slide down the depth chart because I think he's like the fifth. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's like fourth or fifth on the depth chart now. So if they do get another guy too, he's just gonna.
Was that his rookie year?
I believe he was a rookie this past year. Yeah.
So then, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that I personally think that if they go get someone like a T-Mac, yeah, there's the risk of T-Mac soaking up all the targets, but I think that there's a potential of him being used at least marginally more than he is now than in the
Sure.
one-dimensional, you know, bad
Yeah.
offense they have right
I mean,
now.
sure, there's hope. I just think there's a lot of names in front of them that,
Yeah.
Patriots might get rid of. You look like a guy like Kendrick Bourne, they might get rid of. Jalen Polk was quite a disappointment his rookie year. But I know
Kendrick,
guys like Keyshawn Boutte, or how he say his name. I know he was ahead of Baker in the, depth chart, and still have Demario Douglas who'll be ahead of him. And it's just kind of, I don't know, depends where he lands on the depth chart and, how often he plays.
yeah.
That'd be my guess there. All right, what are we looking at here? Oh, all right, 26 better left. Yeah, I mean, all I have left here is just a couple prop bets that I was able to look up, find some interesting things in, and tell you guys ones that I like here. As
Take it
always,
away, Code.
as always, bet responsibly. And the parlay that I actually cook up will be on our Instagram, so make sure you guys go follow that. It would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, first one I like here, Jalen Hurts to score a rushing touchdown. Well, anytime touchdown, that's not a passing touchdown. Like you always, circle back to is that he had a bunch of he had like 12 rushing touchdowns this year.
Yeah, he's a decent amount. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a rushing touchdown. He has 10 in his last 13 games, and he's averaging 1.1 rushing touchdowns a game this season. So I imagine that'll have a very good chance of hitting. Another one I like, which is kind of,
Yeah, he's got 14 touchdowns on the league rushing. So
10 in the last 13 games. So I think he'll find his way into the end zone. Another one I like here, I have Samaje Perine over 6.5 receiving yards.
wow.
He's had 7 or more receiving yards in 14 of the last 15. And the Eagles ranked 19th in receiving yards allowed to running backs. And Perine handled 81% of 2-minute snaps and 91% of long down and distance snaps this year. So he's the guy in passing downs. He's the guy in the backfield. And I mean, 6.5, that's one catch. You can turn one catch into 7 yards. So that's kind of all you're hoping on there. On the flip side, I'm going to take Saquon Barkley lower than 2.5 catches. He's had 3 or less receptions in 7 of the last 8 games. And the Chiefs are bottom 3 in receptions allowed to our running backs. So running backs don't really catch the ball a lot against the Chiefs. And he hasn't really been catching the ball a lot as of late. So I don't think he gets 3 catches. Another guy I'm going under on his catches, really hammering the running backs here. Kareem Hunt, less than 1.5. Hunt has fewer than 2 receptions, 5 of his last 6, and he's averaging less than 2 catches a game this season. So I don't, for those reasons, again, I don't think he's going to go over 1.5. So I'll take the under there. Usually I'm a optimistic bettor, and I usually like taking overs. But this week for the Super Bowl, I'm taking a lot of unders. Another under I'm taking is Jalen Hurts' longest completion is going to be less than 34.5 yards. He has
That's a random.
It is. He has his longest completion has went under this in 8 straight, and the Chiefs have not allowed a reception of over 34 yards in the entire playoffs. Back to the optimism here. Another one I like here. Dallas Goedert. I'm going to take his over on 52.5 receiving yards. He's had more than 52 receiving yards 3 of the last 4 games. He's targeted on 32% of routes versus 2 high coverage over the last 8 games. And the Chiefs run the 2 high, the second highest rate in the league. So I think, he will be a benefactor of the defensive scheming of the Chiefs. I like him over on the yards there. One I also like on the Eagles side, because I think at some point they are going to have to throw the ball. Like I said, I envision them being down in the fourth quarter. I like A.J. Brown to have over 5 catches. He has over 5 catches in 73% of his starts this year. And the Chiefs play man coverage at a top 10 rate in the league. And A.J. Brown is number 1 in the NFL against man coverage. So I think the matchup is very good there. Another one I like too, I'm going to take Travis Kelce over on his yards, or over on his catches.
It's your guy.
Yeah, my guy. But I think not only do I think they're going to really pepper him with targets, as I think this could potentially be his last NFL game, I think they're going to want him to go out on a high note. But he also has 6 catches in 9 of his last 11 playoff games. So, slow regular season, but Travis tends to turn up in the playoffs, and we're seeing it again this year. Kelce averages 7.8 receptions in the past 4 Super Bowls he's gone to, and the Eagles have allowed 18 catches by tight ends over the past 2 weeks. And that's all I got for you guys. As always, I'm shaking on my desk here. Be responsible in gambling. Don't gamble money you don't have. However, if you do, I wish you the best of luck. Those are the props I like. Some of those are probably ones I'm going to put in my parlay. Like I said, follow the Instagram, and I will we'll have the official parlays up there maybe early today, tomorrow morning. We'll see. Whenever we feel like it.
You'll see mine tomorrow as well.
Kareem Hunt first touchdown. Yeah, I mean, I like Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown too. That's not a bad one. When will Washington allow Underdog? I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Like Pennsylvania, like I can go an Underdog and do stuff, but I can't do the high lows. Like Pennsylvania doesn't allow you to bet on like the high low game, which I don't understand. But you can like do like the drafts and stuff. Over, under, AJ been reading a book on the sideline.
Over. He's gonna be locked in. I don't think there's gonna be a book.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, I mean that's like I said. Follow the Instagram. I think
over under the amount
in the
of
description.
times.
I think the Instagram handle's there. If it's not there, then I was negligent at my job and I didn't put it in there.
Over under the amount of times Not Like Us is played. 2.5.
2.5. I was gonna say 2.5 is probably a good line.
3.5.
I think that's
high.
I don't think
they're going to do it more than they wouldn't actually. They're not actually going to do it more than once. I don't think. If they did it more than once,
I would. I see. I don't think so either. But like, if they do it more than once, I could see twice maybe. But I don't think any more than twice. I don't think they do it twice, but like twice would be where I see them maxing out at.
I wonder what song he opens up with. If you had to put a bet, what song do you think that Kendrick opens up with?
Oh
Because
boy.
I see people do that. People do that for, I don't know how they bet it, where they bet it. But I have seen that.
What song do I think he opens up to? That's a good one.
Because it's not going to open. I don't think he's going to
maybe.
open. Yeah.
Like you can hear, I can hear it like, all right, time for the show. Then all you hear is like the dun dun, or however that beat progression goes, like the dun 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 dun. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like I can see that.
I forget how it starts low key, but I don't know.
I'm gonna say Humble. I like Humble.
You're taking Humble. I'm gonna
I'm gonna say Humble. Start out with a banger.
I feel like you got to start out slow and lead up to the bangers, though, right? But then Rihanna opened up with, what was it?
I don't remember.
Bitch, better have my money.
I think you start.
Which is like a random one.
Yeah, I think he's gonna start with a banger two. Bring Sizz on. Do they're because their songs together are generally slower. So bring her in.
I'm gonna say
slow down the pace. And then after that, we'll probably get like Squabble Up, and we'll get like, probably finish with Not Like Us.
He wouldn't open up with TV Off.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think he opens up with All Right. That's what I'll say.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think he opens up
with now I say Squabble Up.
All my life I had to fight.
I could see it, yeah. How funny would it be if he opened up with like a snippet from the Drake song where it's just like Kendrick would open his mouth, something about giving a Grammy right now.
Somebody hand him a Grammy right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Now that I said Squabble Up, I can see Squabble Up being the opener. That's kind of like his big radio.
Looking for the rock beat.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Could be.
I'm gonna say Squabble Up. Actually, I think I changed my mind. I'm gonna Squabble Up. I think
Squabble Up.
I'm gonna say Squabble Up. Opens with Squabble Up, finishes with Not Like Us.
See, but when he was in the Super Bowl, when the Rams played, he did all right. He did all right already. So would he open up with All Right again? Like, not that he wouldn't do it twice, but like maybe he doesn't do it. So
I'm liking Squabble Up.
I'm gonna change it.
What are you thinking?
I'm gonna go off the books here, and I don't know if anyone's gonna make an appearance. I'm gonna say that he opens up with Like That.
Okay.
And maybe Future comes out.
Metro Future show up.
Maybe.
I don't know. Would he open up?
Maybe no, he couldn't.
I feel like that's too big a song to open.
Yeah, maybe they come out like mid performance.
That's what I'm saying. That'd be too big of a song to like kick it off with. That's why I like Squabble Up, because it's like that upbeat energy kind of song. It's not as big a song now right now.
All right, actually, for real this time. Actual answer. No changing it.
Lock it
back and forth. I don't even know if anyone's watching anymore. All the Stars. It's got SZA. It's got Kendrick.
He opens with SZA.
Yeah, why not?
I think so. My thing.
You think she comes out?
We're really going in on this. But I think he starts, does a few songs, and then SZA comes out. Like I think the first couple songs are just gonna be him. Like we won't see SZA for like the first, maybe like the third or fourth song. SZA comes out.
Yeah, they don't have too many songs with each other, but I could see it being they both start, and then, they sort of do this tango where this is a football podcast, by the way. They do this tango, not like a physical tango where they're dancing. That would be crazy. But
this is our resume to get on the NFR podcast.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're talking about music. We know our music. They're going like they start off. They do like something like All the Stars, and they're both there, and then maybe it breaks down, and then they do like Kendrick sings "Squabble Up" or something, and says just like kind of vibing or dancing or doing her own thing, and then then they do like SZA does a song like "Kill Bill" or something,
Okay.
and then it's like this back and forth, but like they're also like doing it together, but doing it like you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Kind of like Super Bowls of old, where like you see like Shania Twain with God, who was she there? It was like a random collab, like it was like Shania Twain with like 2 other random artists.
So I heard this rumor
It
floating
was like
around.
so weird.
I heard this rumor floating around that Kendrick's doing the halftime show, and he has a collab song with Miss Taylor Swift. Do we see Taylor Swift come on stage for the halftime show and do that song together?
God, I hope not.
I know that's been flown around.
The Shania
I
Twain
doubt
Super
that. I
Bowl.
doubt that happens,
The
but
Shania
interesting.
Twain Super Bowl was 2003. Was Shania Twain, no doubt, with what's her name?
Gwen Stefani, right?
Gwen Stefani and Sting from the Police.
Wow.
So there might be some weird like. Not that Sting's
Some
gonna come
rando.
out, but like I don't think that it would be that weird to see like SZA and Kendrick, all vibing out, and then all of a sudden like, it would
Maybe he
make more
brings out like
sense.
the TDE boys. Oh, what if we got like Doechii?
Doechii would be cool. I'm saying, man, I think Future. I think they do like that. I think Future and Metro come out.
That'd be nuts. So
It'd be wild.
that would be wild.
I think it happens, man. And then they do, and then maybe, and then Mustard's gonna be there. He's got to come out, right?
Sure.
Everyone screams Mustard, Mustard, and
Yeah.
then
I think I'm more excited for the halftime show than the actual game, to be honest with you.
I disagree.
Big
I got a dog in the fight, but I am excited for.
I have no dogs.
I'm excited for both.
No dog in the fight.
Yeah. All right, man. Well,
that's all I got. I mean, I'm only trying to milk this because
you locked in.
I just got to go to the DMV. So
you locked in. What did you lock in as the first song?
I think "Squabble Up." I'm like the "Squabble Up."
I'm going All the Stars.
All right, lock it in. We'll post on the gram.
I don't know if we could. I don't know if you could technically make a bet for that. Can he? How would you even bet on that?
I don't know. Might just have to bet amongst ourselves.
That's what I'm saying. Like if what would we have to do? Like if it was Squabble Up, like what? Like how would that even work?
I don't know. We'll figure something out.
All right.
Well, so little, this will be the last show of the 2024/2025 season. However, we're not going away. We'll be here all off season. Well, not all off season. We may take, I know if depending on how the game goes tomorrow, Jack may need a week or so off. After this, maybe we'll take a little week or two break, vacation. Get our minds right. But we'll be back this off season. Talk about whatever the hell. We might do some, more
just fun video ideas,
less discussion shows, and more, fun, BS-y kind of deals. I know we talked to our friend Johnny and Jordan. We might get some sort of, trivia-esque games going, and you've seen them all around YouTube. We're basically just going to copy and paste what other YouTubers do and kind of make it our own. But if you guys have any, suggestions for shows to do, we're thinking more, blind rankings. We have a couple of those in the chambers. Like I said, trivia shows, maybe March Madness style brackets and stuff. Yeah, shit. We'll figure it out. We got some ideas in the chamber. We just gotta, pull the trigger. Start doing.
You got time.
Like I said, any suggestions for anything, leave them in the comments.
But it's not the off season yet.
DM us. Huh?
It's not the off season yet, though. We got tomorrow.
It's not. Like I said, well, I was just saying, we're not there yet. It's kind of
I know.
Preview into what's going on. Yeah, as always, we appreciate you guys coming on. We appreciate you guys asking questions. We appreciate you guys, sticking around, talking to us, hanging out. This was our first season together. I had a blast, even though Jack kicked my ass in almost every game we played. But I look forward to it. Look for the off season. Look for the next season.
been an honor.
The honor's mine, man.
That's one off the list. Hey, you're one, baby.
You're one done, baby.
We're moving. We're cooking
No,
with gas.
no sophomore slump here. We are.
No sign
we're
of
taking
stopping.
off.
Yes,
all right.
Sir.
Well, with that, I'm out of ideas to talk about. I also have to get the DMV before they close.
Yeah.
Gotta go get me a new driver's license because it expires this week. So, all right. Once again, everyone, love y'all. Thank y'all, Jack. I will see you tomorrow.
God bless.
Wanted to white fantasy is the play. Marking nothing, but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided.